We are live. We have fabulous colors in the room. Everybody matches nicely. What I'm looking at looks good. So out there, let me see you. No, I can't see you. So let me out there know that I can see, that you can see and hear me. That would be great. And while I'm waiting, I'll point out to you the lovely, I went the right way, the lovely artwork that our community has done at one of our gatherings. And you will be getting word during our welcome that our next gathering is next week. Michael! All right, hello, Michael. Everybody's applauding. And David, okay, so you two have one special spiritual mind treatment. So let me know for what you would like me to treat, and that will be done. All right, good. Well, you two are here. We're here. Let's go. Come on in, shy little one. I don't know who that is. Okay, here we go. All right, so this word is being spoken for each one. And if there is anyone that you would like to have included, just think of their name now and know that this word includes them. Likewise, any place on the planet or situation. Just think of that now, and that's included too. Because I recognize that this one mind of the divine is infinite and everywhere present. So any belief that God can't handle a whole lot of stuff is a human idea and belief, and it is not the truth of that which is infinite, eternal, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. This is that divine creator, that being everywhere present. It is right now with each one and every place on this planet. And everywhere else in this entire universe, wherever anything is, it is what it is and where it is, because the divine is that and there. And likewise, this infinite presence is right where each one is, no matter what one may be dealing with. So to this divine, in being fully present right where each one is not thinking, oh, that's too small an issue, or that's too big. The divine does not know any difference of big versus little. Creating the entire universe, it's got big. Creating the quark, it's got teeny. And so anything and everything that is a part of expressing life as a human being is in that awareness of this infinite mind. It cares about how it is expressing in every nuance, every detail of each one's life, and each one is now allowing an experience of that divine presence in all the details as well as in the big, big stuff. All of it. The day-to-day, the so-called humdrum, that which someone might not think too special. This presence knows it is special, knows it is important, it is sacred, it is holy. And so any personal inclination to diminish one's experience, diminish one's life, put oneself down, or put down any aspect of one's life, any belief in anyone that this part of their living is throwaway or a waste or not necessary, not important, or any belief that any aspect of their lives does not matter, as well as any belief that he or she does not matter, is all erased, evaporated, vanished. Each one matters. Everything about each one matters. Anything that one notices, the divine is noticing. And everything that is not noticed, the divine is there. So whether one is conscious or unconscious, that loving presence is there, creating out of itself that which is the highest, the best, the most truth expressing, that which is the most loving, healthiest, wealthiest, that which is the most joyous, that which is the most peaceful. That is that divine attention. And only that attention comes from the divine. Any belief that God is checking people out to catch them in the act of doing something bad or thinking something bad, all belief in a punishing God, a vengeful, vindictive, resentful, jealous God, is all erased in the realization that this God is infinite, eternal, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. It is pure love, loving its creation unconditionally and giving all that it's got to its creation, and that is the divine's attention. And each one has the choice of accepting that for their own thought and experience or not. The law brings to each one that which he or she has chosen. The banquet table has been laid out for each one with everything on it in abundant, infinite amounts. And each one is experiencing that which he or she has chosen. So any belief in lack, any belief in unworthiness, any belief that one's got to work really hard to accept something from that table, as well as any belief in punishment, self-judgment, self-condemnation, and self-rejection, it's all by this word erased, evaporated, and vanished. Each one is as God has created him or her. Each one is a child of the divine, a child of the divine parent, that divine Father, Mother, God. That is each one's parent, each one's genes and DNA, that divine perfection, wholeness, and completeness, with that heaven, kingdom being given, and each one is able to dwell in this kingdom of heaven peacefully, naturally, and gratefully, humbly, as well as joyfully. All this is given. It is the divine's intention that each one enjoy this gift of life completely, to be in health and vitality, and creating a body that allows each one to express all that he or she chooses to express, always, eternity, always, infinite, always. So this is the gift that has been given, and each one is now expanded in realization of that it is a gift, it's already been given, it's free and clear, and that each one is allowed and has the right and is meant to enjoy it. Enjoy it with peace of mind and to agree with it, to cooperate with it, and even going further, to participate in this goodness that is this life, to receive it and accept it and enjoy it, and to give it and to spread it and to circulate it in this human world and this planet that the divine again has given to each one. And so each one is now realizing that all these people on this planet right now are God's gifts to each one personally, to enjoy and to be reasons to express the gifts of God. And so each one is accepting that he or she belongs, that he or she is a part of this great and glorious life, that he or she is a part of the divine expressing in this human race, no matter who one is with, what crowd one is, no matter what the activity, each one belongs and is able to fully enjoy all the joy that is being created, and also to participate in giving more so that there's even more joy, more love, more delight, more harmony, more peace, more success, more good, and health and vitality being experienced by all that God has created. And so this is true of each one. Wherever he or she goes, the consciousness of the divine that he or she has is expressing through them and is their gift to the world. And the world is grateful. The world recognizes a gift, a blessing, and each one is a gift and a blessing to the world, just the way he or she is. Again, any belief one's not good enough or special enough, any other thoughts of diminishment, self-rejection, or putting oneself down, it is erased, evaporated, and vanished. Each one is a unique expression of the divine, never seen before or will again, and each one here now, always here now, is in that perfect position to give that unique presence of the divine that he or she is. That's the way God has created everything. That is the gift. Each one accepts it and is it. And so I am grateful. This is the truth. I release this word to the law to change everyone's belief so that they know that it's the truth and it's so, and therefore experiences it. So the law knows how to do it. Boom, it's done. And so it is. And that's the way it is. Reverend Rich.
I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
And so we take a moment right now and check in with our heart, and whatever that desire is within, whatever you came here for, whatever good you want, open up to receive it. That is the first step that's required in order to receive greater good. So let's open to greater good, greater health, wealth, joy, expression, success, delight, health, vitality, whatever. Open up to that which, the answer that you desire in your heart, the guidance, the comfort, the demonstration. Open to it and let the truth that is revealed through the activity of this meeting together provide with you the fulfillment of all that you desire. And so it is.
I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
Hi there, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we're ready to receive. Thank you, Reverend Karen, for your wonderful morning meditation. You can all join us at 10:15 for that meditation before the service begins. And thank you, Reverend Rich, for your music, adding that to our service. My name is Regina Quince. I am one of the licensed practitioners here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. And we are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. You see I have my CSL cap on. Yes, they are going to have an Asilomar again this year, this summer. So, yeah, so that's going to be nice. Yeah, SOAR. Look for SOAR. So, first, let's talk about some announcements. The first announcement is that we have another wonderful special Sunday. I'm looking at Susan. Sunday event on our calendar next Sunday, April 30th at 10:30. We will have brunch with Emma, during which we will enjoy participating in some of Emma Curtis Hopkins' beloved practices and from her 12 lessons. And thank you, Susan, for this. And we will break bread together and enjoy eating in community. We would love volunteers to prepare or bring food for this special day. So this information is on our Facebook page, which is CSL Princeton. You can find that information. You can contact Susan, let her know what you're going to bring, because we know you're going to bring something, right? And also remember that Reverend Karen will not be having a live service, but she will post a Sunday service on our Facebook page. So remember this, next Sunday. We've been doing good. You see our artwork back here. So we really have been having a good time doing things here. Also, this Tuesday, Susan will be having a 15-minute meditation at 7 p.m. That is on our Facebook page also. Contact Susan. There's a link to the Zoom page or platform for the service, and it happens every second and fourth Tuesday. So join us. Join us here at 10:30, 10:15, 10:30, face-to-face. We're here, as well as if you choose to join us virtually. I think I covered all the announcements. Okay. So, wait, well, no, my spiel. My spiel. Okay. Radical presence. This term, I was introduced to this term in our Science of Mind magazine this month, and it resonated with me, radical presence. So you can define it as you wish. I define it as the welcoming of Spirit Divine into your present moment. It's a conscious partnering with the divine. Now here's an example of what I mean. Last Tuesday evening, I attended a Zoom call, and my camera wasn't showing me. Now, I'm chair of technology. I'm a Zoomer. I mean, this is what I do for my sorority, my chapter. And so it's been working. My virtual background was on the screen, but I wasn't. After the call, I went to settings to access my camera. The settings response, no camera detected. What? So, now I was on camera several days before. What happened? Windows update. I worked on restoring my camera into the night to no avail. I decided to my background is IT. So I'm troubleshooter, problem solver. Okay. So I'm fearless. So I worked on restoring my camera into the night to no avail. I decided to restore my system to its previous Windows version, which I've never done before. I did, and I let it do its thing throughout the night, and by morning, it's still cycling. You know those little circles? Uh-oh. I signed on, and to my surprise, the restoration had crashed, and 90% of my system apps, including settings, were gone. This included access to my 221 gigabytes of apps, data, and files. I had one browser available out of 4 I typically run, and I had the internet. For this, I was grateful. I researched resolutions all morning and early afternoon until I had to prepare and leave the situation to prepare and attend Irene's services. I had volunteered to be the consciousness of love and high watch for all at that service. As I waited the services to begin, one of our CSLP community members was talking to me, he's smiling in the back, and I mentioned the laptop situation. He had confidence I would figure it out. However, it dawned on me that I had not consciously treated for the resolution to the situation. I had not invoked spirit support in the solution. Oh, this is black.
It'll come back.
Okay. Want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going. They can see it.
Oh, okay. Where am I? Oh,
You hadn't treated.
okay. I had not invoked spirit support in the solution. Duh. I'm a practitioner, right? Duh. Interestingly, during all the troubleshooting and problem solving, I never got upset and I never panicked. So there was something within me that was clear on the positive outcome. However, realizing that I had not treated, I knew I had missed an important ingredient in the restoration process. So on my way home from the services, I treated, knowing the access to my 221 gigabytes of data is at hand and my system is restored to a healthier situation. That it was happening now as I speak. With this radical presence and partnering approach in place, we, Spirit and I, ran through an assortment of restoration and recovery suggested techniques. During the afternoon, now we're Thursday, right? During the afternoon, we happened upon an old video about restoring your laptop to its original state without losing your data. Voila! And it was simple. F10, 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 until you get a pop-up and make your choice on how you want to recover, with or without your data. I chose with my data. Begin. I'm back. Missing some apps I just had to reinstall, but this backup or recovery so nicely gave me a list of every app it had removed for my information. So I knew what they took out that's still not there. The conscious partnership with Spirit permitted me to be a technician I am, to be a troubleshooter, problem solver, in ease, no sweat, no panic, just interesting, just what I do, partnering with the divine. Applying this conscious approach to demonstration makes living life more enjoyable. So 2 things to remember. Number 1, Spirit is always at hand. Guidance is always present. The solution is present. Being cool enough to receive it is helpful. Check your mood and feelings, which may dictate what you will choose. Number 2, treat, treat, treat. Something special happens when you welcome Spirit to be an active presence and partner in a situation. There is a radical confidence present and an absolute knowingness that the best solution is at hand. When you consciously acknowledge the presence in your experience, something radically wonderful can happen. Namaste.
But God works through us and as us. Well, then you do you seek the silence. Well, within you do you seek the peace. Could the answer be within the presence? Might it just be within? Well, within you do you seek the knowing. Well, within you do you seek the truth? Could the answer be within the question? Or might it just be within? I close my eyes and I take a breath. Know that it's always within. I close my eyes, I take a breath, and I know that it's always within. Where within you do you seek the stillness? Where within you do you seek the grace? Could the answer be within the Google? Or might it just be within? Or might it just be within? Or might it just be within? There you go.
That's an actual lyric, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Where was life before Google? Nice to be up here. It's always a privilege. My name is Susan Niedt. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the center, and good to see you all, and good to see you all as well. I had a lot to ponder, speaking of forgetting to treat sometimes. Thank you, Regina, for your steadfastness. Speaking of steadfastness, that's a word that will come up next Sunday quite a bit. But anyway, because of that, I pulled out Joel Goldsmith's book, The Gift of Love. And I thought I'd share a little bit of that with you today. So I'm going to read a little bit of his quotes and then take you in a guided meditation that's from his book, The Gift of Love. So here we go. Joel Goldsmith writes in the book, The Gift of Love, if we are looking at people and neglecting to see or know the truth of them, their inherent spiritual nature, we are bound to be disappointed. And Emma Curtis Hopkins said, knowing the truth of a person is really about bringing that truth to our awareness, because truth is ever present. So I'm going to invite you right now to find that comfortable place of loving support, knowing that support is eternal and infinite. And just enjoy your breath, your natural breathing. And as you breathe in that breath of life, knowing that life is God. And closing your eyes if that's available, or simply gaze downward. And just be with that presence for a moment, the breath of life. Begin to feel your unity with that breath, that life.
And know that whatever or whoever comes up for you during this meditation, it is perfect, and you are guided, you are guarded, and you are protected. So spend a moment and think of someone that you would like to hold in the space of truth for this exercise. Whoever comes up first to mind is usually perfect, but someone that you love, someone with whom you are maybe struggling, or someone that you know who is struggling. So just spend a moment and come up with that person. And when you have that person, simply objectively be aware of them. Just hold that neutral space. Perhaps see what they look like. Just be with them. And now begin coming into the realization that capital I, the I am, that Spirit of God, of course, is already within that person and within you. As within you, so it is within them. And just sit with that sense, that spirit within them, that spirit within you. Know that divine light, that spirit, it's right there knocking at the door of this person's consciousness of recognition, as it does with you. Right there with this person is the light indwelling, surrounding, upholding, as it is with you. And I'm going to read some words. They are in the first person. So I want you to read them as you're saying them or thinking them about this person. As I read them, think that way. This person as they truly are. Now I see the Spirit of God within you. I pay no attention to your humanhood or to what degree of goodness or badness you appear to show forth, or what degree of sickness or health, or what degree of ignorance or wisdom you appear to show forth. For this moment, I am ignoring all that because I am now beholding the truth, the Spirit of God in you. I am lifting up the Christ consciousness in you, bringing to light your God's self. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I know that in the midst of you is the indwelling Spirit. Love, divine love, is ever present. And as you sit with this understanding of truth, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart, if that is something that feels good to you. And hold on to that individual, the picture of that individual, as pure spirit, pure light, pure love. Just be with that and hold that space for them. And now, as you breathe, I invite you to bring your attention back to yourself, knowing that you too are the essence of pure love. Just be with that for yourself. And you can, with your eyes still closed, gently bring your arms back down to your lap. As I speak these words, for each one here, each one who wishes to be here, each one who is virtual, knowing that there is one life, and that life is omnipresent love. Each one is indeed in the presence of divine love always. That is the inherent truth. And that divine love is the freedom that brings to mind all the good that is available. That one perfect love that is God's love within. Love is an infinite creative power for joy, for love, for light, for beauty. It is the one ever-present quality that is letting each one here let their light shine within and without as a gift for all humankind and each other. Love is the gift of relationships, and each one here is blessed to have that gift, knowing that each relationship is divinely inspired, divinely guided, divinely protected, knowing that each relationship is a blessing to bring about deeper understanding, deeper commitment, deeper knowledge of truth. Love dissolves all fear. Love is only love. There can be no space for impatience. There can be no space for distrust. There can be no space for negativity, for criticism. Love is pure, love is light, and each one here sits and understands that truth and lets that love, that pure love, be each one's guide. Because love is the one supreme truth. And each one understands that truth sets each one free. And it is a gift. It is the gift of God expressing itself in each one, that each one can experience this elevated sense of divine love and of relationship love, of all love, because all love is divine love. So this is the truth. It is the truth right here and right now. It is the only truth that can be, because it's the one truth, the one life. So with great gratitude, I release these words to the loving law, the law ever present, ever infinite, knowing it is done here and now. And we can all say together, and so it is. Namaste.
Moment, in this place is the only song I can play. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. When all fear and worry fall away from me, I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love, love that heals, love will set us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I fear I've lost my way, then I go inside and quiet my mind. I can hear spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love will set us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love will set us free. There is only love. There is only love. There There is only love, love that heals, love will set us free. There is only love. Reverend Karen Kushner, bring in the word.
A lot of words.
A lot of words. Yes, a lot of words. So today we are talking about how to get along with troublesome people. At last, at last, I found a new thought author who says that there are some people out there who are troublesome. So it's not just in your imagination. There's people out there who are trouble. So how do we get along with them? Well, I turned to Dr. Frederick Bales, who wrote a little pamphlet, little essay called that, How to Get Along with Troublesome People. Attracted me. And he says, most philosophies intended to produce inner tranquility have one drawback: they call for withdrawal from the world of human beings. Right? That's not the science of mind, right? He says we are tied up in the bundle of life with others. Each has ends he or she wishes to gain, a personality that differs from our own, curious and diverse standards of ethics and morals, and perhaps mannerisms that irk us. But they are here, and we must learn how to get along with them everywhere. So, how do we do that? Well, unfortunately, being the science of mind, he starts off with us, like we're the problem, right? He says the first thing that one has to learn in getting along with others is how to get along with his own difficult self. So, it's very, very possible that each one of us might be a troublesome person in someone else's life. No, not possible, right? But maybe. Let's be a little bit open. And he defines people he places people into two different categories. One is the well-adjusted person, and the other one is the not well-adjusted person. Or he calls it the unadjusted person. So it's still there as potential. You're just unadjusted. You haven't made that adjustment yet. And like attracts like. So the unadjusted ones find themselves surrounded with other unadjusted ones, and the well-adjusted ones, like me, right? Surrounded with all you lovely, well-adjusted people, right? Yeah. Like sees like, so whatever you think is there it is. So we want, in getting along with other people, we want to do a little check on ourselves. Am I well-adjusted or unadjusted? Or is there room for improvement? Okay? So let me ask you if you believe this. Do you believe that human nature is fundamentally good? Well, you didn't have to answer out loud. But good. Then everyone you meet, you should see, is good. So as you look out on your world, very large world, include the internet, and all popular figures out there, right? So do you see each one of them as fundamentally good? If not, then you see that there might be some room for you to grow in well-adjustedness. He says that each one of us has deep desires for security, love, happiness, and comfort. That some of us sometimes behave in a way that seems to be opposite than that. And he says that wickedness is often a wrong aim rather than a wrong intention. So back in the years when I was an actress, I once had to play a wicked person. And, one of the really bad ones. And I was like, oh, gee, you've got to, I knew from acting that you've got to love your character. Otherwise, it was hard for you to give yourself to them. You can't play evil and have anybody believe it. You've got to really believe that you're a good person, and this is just the way you express it. And so I was having a little bit of trouble with this, and a fellow actor said to me, you just rearrange your priorities. I was like, oh, it's my same priorities, just in a different order. And I was able to completely give myself to that particular character who, did get mad at her husband and chopped his head off, but, it was just a rearrangement of the priorities that Karen normally has. But in the science of mind and other spiritual philosophies similar to us, we teach that the divine is all good, not at the level of duality where humans think good versus bad, but pure, before any forms, before any opinions, before any personalities are taken form. And in that abstract, absolute level, before form, it's only pure, wholesome goodness. It's pure intelligence. It's pure love. And then it expresses through its creation, and each creation being unique and having freedom of choice and being given different situations through which they emerge onto this planet, reach different conclusions about life. And different ideas about how they can achieve their good. Because the desire to know that you're good and to express that good is the same in all of us. It's just that some of us might have that belief, that desire for good, coupled with the belief, and I will never get it. That creates despair. That belief, I desire good, and that person is keeping it from me, will create hatred and a desire to get rid of that person. And so we want to watch ourselves if we are thinking, oh, I'm desiring only good, and if only the people in my world would stop behaving the way they are, then I can be peaceful and happy, right? It's their fault. I certainly learned this in my early days of the teaching in my employment. I worked for a woman who was crazy. We all agreed. She's crazy. She behaved outrageously. No filter, no wisdom, no intelligence. We all agreed she was stupid. And she made all of our lives miserable. I checked. Everyone around me, we all agreed. And eventually she made my life miserable. At that time, I believed all I had to do was leave her and my life would be better. I went to some sort of cockamamie spiritual group who promised, enjoy life more, the arts, the theater, the music. And when I went to see them, they started talking about being happy where you are. It was actually a group similar to ours. And I the poor facilitator, because I accused him of false advertising and everything else underneath the sun. I'm like, I'm here to enjoy the arts, and what the hell are you talking about? Being happy where I am. You are full of blip, blip, blip. But they were right. He was right. I'm so sorry, wherever you are out there in the world. And yes, it was my first step onto this path which led me here. So it was good even though I didn't know it. And but I really, really did believe it was the job that needed to be changed, and then I would be happy. He says, he's got this beautiful little saying here somewhere. It'll come to me. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, anyway, I'll find it later and then I'll read it. But he and Dr. Raymond Charles Barker, who used to be at the New York City Center for Spiritual Living, said something similar. That we come into this teaching and we begin doing that treatment work and we really expect everyone in our world to change and all the circumstances in our world to change, and we stay our same old miserable self. So, the well-adjusted person realizes that it begins with ourselves. We realize like attracts like. And so it is spiritually critical that we believe that people are inherently good, that they intend good, they've just got a different arrangement of priorities. And it's very possible, right, if we walked in their shoes, we would understand, but we never really get to walk in their shoes. Now, that's not, don't go, oh, everybody's fundamentally good and so I should put up with all bad behavior, because that's not what Frederick Bales is telling us at all. And that's why I like him, is because he's saying there are people who are maladjusted, unadjusted, and they are behaving in ways that need to be thought about and decisions made about it, about how we want to interact with them. So that's very important. So he goes on, let's again to just check whether we are the unadjusted person or not. He says that the unadjusted person has a lot of frustration. His or her inner turmoil sets off ugliness in others who allow it to break forth into action. You can know that, just get into some sort of gathering like on the subway or something and start complaining about things and just see how much agreement you might get. And that person is envious, saying, if I had that person's money, looks, position, political influence, education, things come easy for that person. That person is lucky, but not me. She thinks she could do better with a different employer, that you could do better selling in a different territory. In a sense, the unadjusted person is an idealist, a perfectionist, but is looking in the wrong direction. We must clean up the world's wrongs by starting with sweeping our own doorstep. Here's my quote. He wants a magic wand. I do. Don't you? He wants a magic wand to dissolve his obstructions, grant all his wishes, make angels of those around him, while leaving him to remain emotionally immature. Apparently that cannot be done. So, now, I want to lovingly support each and every one of you who may start realizing you're unadjusted. It's okay. It's okay. I will admit, I have some tendencies that could be described as an unadjusted person, but I believe the well-adjusted part of me is aware of it. And so when I see myself starting to feel, react, and behave in ways that I know look like an unadjusted person, I am most of the time guided to shut up and to not act on it and to go within and start doing my work. So it's okay. It's okay. And like attracts like. So, all right, now the well-adjusted person. Let's see what that person is like. The well-adjusted person does not demand absolute perfection in those about him or her, because the well-adjusted person is clearly aware of their own imperfection. It's an expression of love. You realize, yeah, given the right set of circumstances, I could think that way, I could feel that way. The maladjusted says, I am happy because others are not kind and cooperative, blah, blah, blah. But the adjusted person says, I have the same difficulties because I live in a world of imperfect humans. I live in a world I see much to criticize, but I go ahead trying to do my daily stint. We do what we can with imperfect beings around us. We realize, this is him talking, all people are a little abnormal at some point. Our own peculiarities have been so long with us that they seem normal. Raymond Charles Barker, who I used last week about, right, not being lonely anymore, he said lonely people develop peculiar traits. Okay? All right. So anyway, we believe our own peculiarities are perfectly normal. Our own views seem to be unbiased. Yet we all are unconsciously slanted in specific directions. And so we want to realize that we do have our own perspective, which is different, but it is also limited to what we've been exposed to what we're aware of. And yeah, we aim to become more and more aware, but what we are unaware of, we have no control over. So in those areas hides, right, that beam in our own eye that we're supposed to deal with before we get out that speck in the other's eye, right? All right, so what do? He gives us a treatment for inner peace. Let's look at this. He says, in the science of mind, we would accomplish adjusting in the world better if we give this following mental treatment. Peace must be the true state of each one, because peace lies at the heart of the infinite. Quiet, deep, unruffled peace. Since this is true, and my mentality is merely an extension of this infinite mind, then that which is true of the infinite must be true of me. No person, place, or thing has the power to irritate me without my consent. In my fathomless depths is the infinite peace. These ripples are only on the surface and are transient. This sense of hurt and irritation is not a part of my true self. It does not belong to me and was never intended to be part of my experience. I send my love, tolerance, and kindliness in the direction of that irritation, and my new attitude dissolves everything unlike itself. So practicing that daily will start bringing in to your awareness the infinite wisdom, the infinite intelligence, the guidance of the divine, so that we can become that person, right? We do spiritual mind treatment to accept a change in ourselves. So there's no need to do a spiritual mind treatment if you know peace and you're never irritated by anyone. We only do it when you are irritated, right? That's the point of it, okay? So, the two signs of emotional immaturity are sensitiveness and self-pity. And so if you find that you are oversensitive to what other people's do, you want to realize, he says, that it probably grows out of a sense of inferiority. And we know in our spiritual awareness and development that we have to know our value, right? We have to know our worth. We have to appreciate ourselves, accept ourselves just the way we are, not like anybody else. Comparison is death to the unique personality that each one of us is. We cannot compare ourselves to anyone else because that is apples and oranges. And each one of us is a unique fruit, not like anything else. So we just got to accept that and love then. Love the way we are. or each one of us is. I can't even say we. We can't love the way we are, because I love the way that I am. You love the way that you are. And so that we want to grow in self-acceptance, self-love, self-approval, self-appreciation, self-valuing, self-worth. We have to know who we are and love every bit of it and stay true to it. And as I like to say, keep sacred the integrity of our soul. And I'm growing in that, and I'm sure all of you are too. And the more we're able to do that, then the less sensitive and critical that we will be of others, because we know who we are. And we realize if someone doesn't like us or says something negative to us about, they just don't get who we are. But if they did, they would love you. We need to know that. Like, they don't get it, maybe they're not interested in, but if they did, they would love you. Because we want to build a consciousness in our own thinking that it is impossible to conceive of any reasonable person not absolutely adoring us. And so if someone doesn't, and they have freedom of choice, but poor thing, right? Poor thing. So we want to build that consciousness. Again, it's not ego consciousness. And you know that those who have great big old egos, it doesn't work, right? Because secretly they believe that they're bad. But people who really appreciate their unique value are actually identifying with that which is divine, right? We're realizing I am the divine's handiwork. How could I disrespect what the divine has created? So we accept what we've been given, and then that will erase that feeling of inferiority, and our sensitiveness will lighten up, and we'll have less and less of an experience of self-pity. We want to build that belief that we are the authority in our lives. We can change whatever we've been dealt with by the world. We can change it. Might not be easy, and it probably won't be easy for everyone. It's not easy to carve out a place, a harmonious place in this world, given the uniqueness that each one of us is, because we've never been seen before. The world has not provided a place for us. How could they? They don't know us. They didn't see us coming. But the divine saw us coming, because the divine made us and carved out a place for us. But the only way to find it is by getting on your own program, knowing your value, knowing your worth. And yes, we start by convincing ourselves, by knowing the truth, by giving that kind of a treatment over and over and over and over again. But we never stop, because we are infinite beings. And so that's okay. But it is our job to assert ourselves. And you're not going to do it if you think you're, right? You're not. You know, when I thought I was yuck, I hid. Right? I had that little shrinking, don't call on me, don't ask me, because you're going to find out I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, I'm, all that kind of stuff, right? But now, who wants to go first in the ballet step across the room? I'm like, I will. And everybody else is shrinking in the back, and I'm like, what's your problem? Get it over with. Move on. And I also know they're not going to look at me. They're all worried about themselves, right? So anyway, I figured that out. But believe me, recent history, I figured it out. So let's assume now that we are well-adjusted people, and the troublesome people that we meet, it's them. Okay, so they're just not adjusted yet. They exist. You're well-adjusted. What do? You meet that one. 2 attitudes, he says, are helpful. I'm going to change one of them. And you'll know why as soon as I say it. He says 2 attitudes are helpful: pity and decisiveness, equally balanced. So I'm going to change the word pity to sympathy. That better describes it for me. Again, this was written in 1948 when pity was a good thing. Okay, so what are we doing with this sympathy? We realize that somehow this troublesome person in front of us had something not healthy, not nourishing or nurturing happen to them that caused them to come to their own particular conclusions. Not that they're right, but something happened to their normal, natural development. And that also might even include some sort of birth thing or whatever, chemical thing, environmental thing, parental thing. Lord knows people are making billions of dollars identifying all the different things that could have happened to one. But we don't have to get into that. All we have to do is realize that their natural inherited state is goodness. And something happened that has not yet been healed, that they have not yet adjusted in a healthy way to. So what this does is, for me, is I am able to still feel the love within me for that particular person. I don't have to have the answers or figure that person out. I don't have to know all the details of their life in order to feel that sympathy. All I know is if I am a well-adjusted person and this behavior is happening, then there's something about this person I don't know. I don't understand it, but I sympathize. Years ago, back when I was an atheist, I had one of those days. I worked in New York City, down at 1 Wall Street. I was a banker, and I was looking good. Really great suit on, lunchtime, hair worked, the whole thing. I had the whole thing. And I had high heels. Back then I wore 2.5-inch heels. And I was just clicking along the street, feeling good. I mean, that one moment in my, horrific 35 first years of life when I always felt awful. It was just that one moment when I felt fabulous, total in agreement with myself, the whole thing, right? And I'm walking along the sidewalk there, and this little lady, she was like this tall to me, stops right in front of me and says, "I hate you." I swear. And I just went, and kept on walking. It didn't affect me. I wasn't sensitive. Believe me, I was sensitive everywhere else under the sun. But I wasn't sensitive there because I didn't know this person, and it had nothing to do with me, and I was able to just walk around her and merrily along my way. And so when you know who you are, I mean, give me another day if that had happened, I probably would have, been in the ladies' room crying all night. But anyway, the thing is that when you know who you are, you realize that what someone is throwing at you, stuff that is inappropriate, insensitive, hurtful, mean, cruel, nasty, rotten, abusive, whatever negative behavior that might be, you're realizing it has nothing to do with me. It may have a lot to do with what they want from me. And that gets us to decisiveness. Because honoring yourself and getting along with troublesome people means you have to take a stand and be able to say no to them. You have to be able to say no. Now, they might create a scene, but they're going to create a scene whenever in your future you say no to them. So you pick the when. And as I learn this, and as I practice this, I learn, say the no as soon as you realize you got to say the no. Get it over with. There's going to be the scene, but at least I won't be suffering until, with all this compliance and giving in and trying to work with them and all this other sort of, just say no, and it's over with. The scene is over with. You can move on, and you do your spiritual work to forgive yourself, forgive them, move on, get it over with. He says the adjusted person does not give tit for tat when hurt, because that would be to drop down to the level upon which the unhappy one lives. And so how do we stay at this higher plane? He says, where is it? Very important, that each one of us has to come up with a reasonable philosophy of life. Right? You have to think about yourself. He says the integrated person has thoughtfully developed an intelligent approach to the various sides of life from which trouble might arise. That person has worked out a proper, healthy attitude toward their health, money, work, ethics, morals, friendships. And this philosophy for the well-adjusted person is fair to themselves and at the same time fair and human toward our neighbor. And so it becomes our life policy. Once the policy is decided upon, it becomes our plan for living. And here's a suggestion he has. The well-adjusted person takes their stand upon the following: I will never impose upon anyone beyond that which I would expect him or her to impose upon me. In other words, we recognize the freedom of choice and individuality of each one by recognizing our own. So I will not impose on you, my neighbor, that which I do not want you to impose on me. It's another way of saying, do unto others what you have others do unto you. So we treat people with the same fairness that we expect for ourselves, the same justness that we accept for ourselves. He says, right, I will not impose on anyone beyond that which I would expect him or her to impose upon me, and the opposite. I will not allow anyone to impose upon me beyond that which I would impose upon them. And that's where the decisiveness is necessary. If someone is a troublesome person, or maybe they're not, maybe they're a well-adjusted person and they want you to do something that is out of your own integrity. The decisiveness is, no, I can't. I don't want, well, actually, Dr. Susan Forward says what your response should be, no. Zip it. Because if you offer an excuse, right, the troublesome person will start arguing with your excuse, and then you're all tangled up with, and if you're like me, you end up lying all over the place. Oh, I can't make it because I've got something else to do that night. Well, what do you have to do? Oh, I promised someone that I could blah, 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 because, what I wanted to do was not be with you. And I didn't want to say that, to hurt their feelings, and, off you go, right? So, because you don't want to hurt their feelings. But the thing is that why are their feelings more important than yours? Troublesome people will remain troublesome, right? Because they are unadjusted. And people who give in to their ways are not giving them any information that they need to make an adjustment. They're assuming that what they're doing works. Right? They get their way. I watch a whole lot of The Big Bang Theory and young Sheldon, and, he's convinced that he excels at digging in and hounding people until they give him his way. And so that's his approach to everything. And everybody goes crazy, but he gets his way, and he says that. He says that out loud. Well, I get my way. That's the way to do it. So troublesome people, in a sense, have been trained by undecisive people to behave in this negative way, and people will give them what they want. And what they need to learn is they need to make an adjustment. And it's our job to let them know. Well, the answer to that is no. 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 And even if they were used to you always saying yes, the 500 million times before, the time that you decide that's it, you begin to say no, and then that's it. And they will create a scene. They might increase the pressure. They might try to make your life even more miserable. But think about what you're teaching this troublesome person if you give in. That their nasty behavior works. No. And so, the good news I like about his particular book is that it's not always us. We can be well-adjusted, and if we are well-adjusted, loving people, we can sympathize with that person. Something happened, I don't know what. Be grateful that we are not where they are. For me, a lot of times I'm so sympathetic because I used to be there. And I was there until some blessed being told me no. Until that happened, I had no clue. And so that gift of sympathizing keeps you in the consciousness of love, but you are loving yourself too, and so you're able to say, no, no. Freedom of choice for you and for me. You're keeping sacred the integrity of your soul. So this is something that we all want to grow into. I've been working on it ever since one blessed being said no to me way back when. I wish I had heard that word much earlier than I did. But when I got the no, I was like, oh, you mean what I just did was not acceptable behavior? All right, let me change that. And I took the steps I needed to change it. At the time, I went to see a therapist, and I said, look, apparently I behave this way. I want to come up with a better way of dealing with people and expressing this emotion. What do you got? And I had to practice a different behavior until I had some more options when I felt a particular strong emotion. But because I can do that, I know that anyone can do that. And because I know that happened in that particular little behavioral problem that I had, I believe that that's possible for any particular behavioral problem. But the thing is that it's not your job to fix the other person, right? We sweep our own doorstep. We get clear about who we are. We get our particular philosophy of life that honors ourselves, respects ourselves, and extends that to all. And we learn how to sympathize and how to be clear and in our response with a yes, with a no, depending on where we are with that. And that is how to get along with troublesome people. Right? Easy, huh? Easy. He quotes Shakespeare, "To thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man." The most valuable person, he says, is the one who, having set an ideal, remains true to it in spite of another's anger or behavior. And that steadiness helps those who grope blindly towards self-sufficiency in the long run, even though at the moment, right, they may accuse you of being selfish, heartless, and breaking my heart or whatever. He says, getting along with troublesome people is simply being as true as one can to his or her own inner ideals. The world is full of people who would switch you onto sidetracks, offering the most specious arguments to support their view. And if we are sure that our ideals have been conceived in a spirit of fairness to all, I like to say the highest and greatest good of all, if we can stand by them without inner apology on the one hand or acrimony on the other, take some getting used to, right? Then that which is best for us eventually turns out to be best for all those whose lives are affected by our decisions. The highest and the greatest good of all requires each and every one of us to take a stand for accepting our own personal good, which only we can know. So we got a lot to work with here, right? Take a deep breath. Even if you know now, once and for all, that you are that troublesome person, it's okay. Just take a deep breath. We sympathize. We understand. I know, I'm just like you, right? And with that, let's have Reverend Rich sing a song and I'll come back. Someone writes in the chat, but I'm perfect. Reverend Rich.
I'm okay with that. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your love is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to your soul, my soul. Okay.
I said, how deeply you're affected by my soul.
Or you could go to Codependence Anonymous.
Oh my gosh. Truth is out, right? Okay. So this word is being spoken for each one. Divine love is present right where each one is, just the way that they are. And any belief that one needs to be better or that there's any badness to them, it's a lie right from the beginning, erased and evaporated. That presence of love is with each one now, and each one is expanded in acceptance of it and awareness of it. And because of that, the wisdom of love is now guiding each one in their relationships with all. And in God, all are present. All are loved, and each one is better able to harmonize with each and every one, being clear about what is best for him or herself. And standing upon that truth, each one discovers a world filled with wonderful people. I am grateful that this is the truth. I release it to the law. It is done, and so it is.
I said, Amen. 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 Said, Amen. 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 I said, Amen. 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 Amen.
Woo! And that's the way it is. All right, next week, gathering. I'll see you virtually. And there we go. All right, so thank you. Oh, Laura from Italy. Oh, ciao, Laura, ciao. Okay, hi, Pauline, Raul, David, Debbie, and Michael. All right, so see you next week. Ciao.